Hey everybody, having a good evening hopefully. I'm sitting here cooking, I'm standing here cooking, gotta get my protein in, and there's just so much that I want to talk about that I never make the videos because I feel like they're gonna last an hour or two or three or I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is that I see a lot of people living a life of consistent bad habits, but they're habits that are accepted and so they don't seem bad. They're habits that are socially acceptable, I guess. It's the norm. It's almost considered culture in some ways. And when you bring up a specific example of it, people are like, yeah, you're right, that's exactly, what's going on, and that's the kind of thing that's gonna change the world for the better, change my life for the better, change your life for the better, whatever the case may be. That's the answer. Or you're right, this is something that we do. That's not the answer. And then you keep doing it. I keep hearing about people complaining about other people. I keep hearing about people upset with their job because their job didn't appreciate them enough, because their spouse didn't appreciate them enough, because their children don't appreciate all of the work and sacrifice they put into something that the payout is due and it hasn't arrived. The problem with that is, if the payout hasn't arrived, it's because the effort, the buy-in, hasn't arrived. Once the buy-in happens, the payoff shows up. It's like, the chicken or the egg. But in this case, you have to buy in. You have to invest, whether that be financially, with effort, or energy, or excitement, or enthusiasm, or genuineness, if that's a word. That's how you buy into something. Once you buy into it and you get the payout, then you can say, okay, I got what I wanted, or this was worth it or not. So if your boss doesn't appreciate you, then what is it that you're not doing that he will then appreciate you for? Because you want that appreciation to be genuine. You don't want it to just be transactional. I do this and you appreciate me. You want him to appreciate your work because you did a good job, a really, truly good job. But now, if that reward has to come from them, then they decide when and what or how or the quantity of the work that needs to be done in order to do that, whether that be your work, school, sports team, just your friends in general, your spouse, your children, whoever. If you want that reward to come from them, then they get to measure what it takes for them to pay out, right? They get to charge the buy-in. That's why it's so important to have it come from within. Once it comes from you, you decide what the buy-in is. You decide when you feel happy about something, when you feel appreciated, when you feel respected. It's when you do it to yourself, right? Why do some of us walk around in one moment when we're with a group of people we feel so respected and we feel great about ourselves, and when with another group of people we feel down on ourselves, we feel a little shy? And it's because you're allowing them to determine your behavior instead of you controlling it. You're a superhuman. You're a super machine, right? Humans are the most high-tech piece of equipment in the universe that we know of. There's nothing that comes even close to the ability of a human. And that's what we are, but we're behaving like a bunch of idiots, like a bunch of just pieces of meat walking around. We're not activating our mind, we're not activating our emotions. Our emotions are a toolbox, and whether we use them for good or bad is up to us. You can't... Anyway, see, I sidetrack, and this is why recording the video for me seems like something that may not be such a good idea, because I can go on for hours and hours and hours about this stuff. And it's when I get into deep thought, when I'm in my moment, everything's quiet, I get to think, and I really need to start putting these out and be criticized for it, right? I gotta buy in. If I want the payout, which is going to be your feedback, your point of view, your perspective, then I gotta buy in, and that means recording this video. If you want to see the real me, which most people don't know the real me, if you think you know me, you probably don't. Respond to this. Let me know what you think. I mean, do I sound like an idiot? Do I sound like somebody who's trying to help people? Do I sound like somebody who's just trying to fulfill my own need for either attention or appreciation or respect or whatever? You know, I want to talk. I want to let my thoughts out there, because I've come to a point in my life where I'm saying I could be wrong about everything. Everything. And so I need to reset. Have any of you reset? Let me know. If you haven't, if you don't feel like you've reset, if you feel like you've always been on, because that's the problem, is you either feel like you've reset and your thinking has been corrected, or you feel like you know it all already and you've never needed your thinking to be corrected. And that's a huge red flag. If you feel like your thinking has never needed to be corrected because you've always been on par with your goals, I've yet to meet a person who's actually displaying the same behavior that their words are describing. They say they're happy, but their behavior tells me they're not. They say they value themselves, but their behavior tells me they're not. So let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm crazy. Because if I am, I'd be down to go get taken care of at a crazy house, the cuckoo's nest. If I'm not crazy, well, then maybe I'm onto something. Right? I think there's value here, and I don't know how to translate it into a language that the public understands. So I'm just going to make a video, and I'll keep doing that. Maybe more often. I don't know. Have a nice night.